Hello everyone and welcome back to Dungeons & Death Battles, the series where we search for the most lethal monster in all of Dungeons & Dragons. Rules are simple, it's arena combat, combatants start 30 feet from each other, there's no fleeing, and it's a battle to the death. Today we have got an excellent card for you with the Cocatrice taking on the Dust Mephit. These creatures may be small, but by golly do they pack a punch. So without further ado, let's roll in some initiative and see who is going to kick things off. So jumping in first we have the Cocatrice, and that is an 8 plus 1 for 9. Certainly not a bad start from the avian competitor, but let's see what the Dust Mephit can back that with. And that is an 11 plus 2 for 13, so it looks like the Dust Mephit is going to be kicking things off. So, starting from where it is, the Dust Mephit is going to move 15 feet towards the Cocatrice and is then going to use its Blinding Breath ability. Now with this one, the Mephit exhales a 15-foot cone of blinding dust. Each creature in that area must succeed a DC 10 dexterity saving throw or be blinded for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. So, let's roll in for that Cocatrice. If it can be a DC 10 dexterity saving throw, it does have a plus 1 to this, and that is an 11 plus 1 for 12, so the Cocatrice remains unblinded. The Dust Mephit is then going to use the rest of its movement to move 15 feet further away, and with that the Cocatrice is going to return fire and is going to fly into melee range with the Dust Mephit, and is then of course going to throw in with a bite attack. The Dust Mephit has an armor class of 12, but the Cocatrice does have a plus 3 to this roll, but with a 4 that's only going to total 7, so that is not going to make it through. And that means that once again we roll back around to the Dust Mephit, which is now going to attempt to cast Sleep on the Cocatrice. So this spell sends creatures into a magical slumber. I'm going to roll 5d8 to see how many hit points we're going to be able to affect. Turns out I had a shortage of d8, so we're going to be rolling these plus an additional. Okay, so we had a 1, 7, 8, 5, and 4, so totaling up to 25 hit points. And unfortunately, that is just under the Cocatrice's hit point total of 27. Meaning that the Cocatrice remains awake and uncharmed. Not a very good turn of events there for the Dust Mephit, which once again means that that Cocatrice is back up, and it's going to throw in with yet another bite attack. And that is a 17 plus 3 for a 20. That is definitely going to connect with that Dust Mephit. So let's see what the damage is going to be. And that's rolling through with 1d4 plus 1, the 3 plus 1 for 4, but the main point of this bite attack is that a DC 11 Constitution saving throw is coming the Dust Mephit's way. Upon a failure, the creature will begin to turn to stone and is restrained. It must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn. On a success, the effect ends. On a failure, the creature is petrified for 24 hours. So this is going to be a pivotal roll now for that Dust Mephit. So it has to beat that DC of 12. It has a Constitution of 10, meaning there is no additional modifier, so it's just relying on the flat dice roll here. And that is an 11. It could not have clutched tighter. That is right bang on that DC, meaning that the Dust Mephit remains unpetrified for now. However, the Mephit itself is all out of other options, although it is going to attempt to recharge that Blinding Breath. So we're going to get a D6 roll in. A 1, that means it does not recharge. So it is going to be forced to use its claws. So there's a plus 4 on this one, but a natural 1 is going to mean that that does absolutely nothing. And therefore we roll back around to the Cocatrice once again, which of course is going to attempt to bite. And once again, that 11 plus 3 is going to make a 14, so that is going to connect. So the Dust Mephit is currently sitting on 13 hit points, and we're going to roll in to see what the damage is here. And that's a 1 plus 1 for 2, bringing the Mephit down to 11 hit points, but of course, we're all here to see that Constitution saving throw. Once again, DC of 11, Dust Mephit succeeding once again, and is of course going to retaliate with those claws. And that is a 9 plus 4 for 13, and that is going to connect with the Cocatrice. Rolling in some damage, we've got 1d4 plus 2. And that's a 3 plus 2 for 5. Decent hit there from the Dust Mephit, bringing the Cocatrice down to 22 hit points. But of course, the duking out is going to continue, and the Cocatrice is going to go for a bite once more. And the 3 plus 3 for 6 is not going to cut it, meaning that there is a return for the Dust Mephit, meaning that the Dust Mephit is going to continue to flail around with its claws as we roll back through to its turn. But first things first, it is going to attempt to recharge that Blinding Breath. Again, a 6 required for it to bring this one back into the fold. That is once again a 1, so it does not get the ability back. This has turned into a bit of a slogfest, but the Mephit is going to return fire with some claws. And once again, an 11 plus 4 for 15 is going to cleave through the Cocatrice's armor of 11. So we'll roll through some damage once more. Maximum damage there, that is a 4 plus 2 for 6, which brings the Cocatrice down to just 16 hit points. There has been a lot of back and forth here so far. Let's see if the Cocatrice can actually land a hit. It certainly can't with a 2. The Cocatrice is having absolutely foul luck here. Dust Mephit again going to roll that recharge. 4 is not going to cut it, so we're looking at a flurry of claws once again. And a 9 plus 4 for 13 is once again going to do it. We're rolling in for that damage with a 2 plus 2 for 4, as the Dust Mephit simply continues to chip away at that Cocatrice. leaving it now on just 12 hit points. Let's continue on again. The Cocatrice going for that bite attack. Once again, a 2. This thing is not having any luck whatsoever. This is an absolutely revolting string of luck for the Cocatrice. But once again means that the Dust Mephit is going to roll in to see if it gets its blinding breath back. I'm not on a 2, but the claws are coming back in again. And again, a 14 plus 4 for 18 is going to do it. Rolling back in with that damage. Little and often, that is a maximum damage hit there with a 4 plus 2 for 6. Bringing the Avian Terror down to just 6 hit points. Cocatrice is still standing though, and is once again going to attempt to hit the Dust Mephit with a bite attack. And just like that, its string of bad luck ends, rolling a 19 plus 3 for 22. Definitely going to cleave through the Dust Mephit's armor class of 12. So let's roll in for that damage. We've got that 1 there, plus 1 for 2. So the damage side of things isn't very impressive there. However, once again, we are here to see that Dust Mephit roll a Constitution saving throw, DC of 11. And that is a 2. That could be a critical moment for the Dust Mephit, as it does indeed start to become petrified. This does mean that the Dust Mephit is now restrained. So the creature is going to roll in once again to see if it gets its blinding breath back. And again, a 5, just 1 shy, it does not. And is desperately going to try and end this fight now, rolling at disadvantage due to its restrained condition. It is going to attack with its claws, and unfortunately that imposed disadvantage does mean that a 4 plus 4 for 8 is not going to cut it. And fortune may have swayed back over to the Cocatrice as it goes in with its bite attack. Once again, this is now at advantage due to that Dust Mephit being restrained. So rolling in, and an 11 plus 3 for 14 of course will do it, as the Cocatrice now returns fire. And a 3 plus 1 for 4 is going to bring the Dust Mephit down to 5 hit points. There is really a very small margin in this now, but failing that Constitution saving throw could have spelled the end for the Dust Mephit. But it's not over till it's over, so let's see what it can do. See if it can get that blinding breath recharge. It does not, unfortunately, as we roll back in with disadvantage on those claws, and that is going to be a 10 plus 4 for 14, which means that even at disadvantage, the Dust Mephit does indeed make the hit. This is a very important damage roll here for the Dust Mephit, and it's rolled in with a 3 plus 2 for 5, which has brought the Cocatrice down to 1 hit point. Just 1 hit point left on the Cocatrice. And now this is probably the most crucial roll of the entire fight so far, as the Dust Mephit must now make another Constitution saving throw. Once again, the DC is 11, but this time on a failure, the creature will become petrified for 24 hours. Petrified, of course, causing a creature to be transformed along with any non-magical object it is wearing or carrying into a solid, inanimate substance such as stone. So once again, this is a crucial roll for the Dust Mephit. DC 11, no modifier. And that is an 11, no modifier, right on the money. The Dust Mephit has avoided petrification and is no longer restrained. An absolutely massive roll there for the Dust Mephit, but it is going to roll back round to the Cocatrice, and the Hideous Hybrid is going to go in with a bite attack once again, this time not at disadvantage due to that Dust Mephit save last turn. But rolling in with a 13 plus 3 for 16 is going to hit, and it looks like the process could repeat itself. Get some damage in there, and that is maximum damage from the Cocatrice with a 4 plus 1 for 5, which is in fact going to bring the Dust Mephit down and out, dropping it to 0 hit points at the end of this incredibly climactic battle. And as the Dust Mephit drops to 0 hit points, it does of course gain the benefit of its Death Burst ability, although this doesn't do any damage, which is going to leave the Cocatrice still standing on 1 hit point. And there we have it. You really could not write that. So much back and forth here in this Dungeons and Death Battles combat, and with the Cocatrice by the very skin of its teeth coming out on top over the Dust Mephit, which does of course mean that the Cocatrice will be advancing through to the next round of Dungeons and Death Battles. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this battle. This was definitely one of the tightest ones we've seen yet. But with all that said and done, I hope you join me for the next one, in which the Arcane Wrought Animated Armor will be taking on the forest-dwelling Dryad, as we continue on with our search to find the most deadly monster in all of Dungeons & Dragons.